Good morning, everyone. I'm Laurie Baracco, and it's time for the Empower Hour. And today's date is July 28th. Nope, July 26th, 2017. And this week I will be sharing some of my tips for those who are empaths and how to manage feeling and absorbing all of that energy and how you can function amongst other people without becoming overwhelmed in crowds and stressed out and taking on other people's energy. So I welcome all of you who have tuned in on the YouTube page as well as in the online community. Good morning, everyone. Looks like we have quite a few people who have signed in this morning. And it's so good to see everyone here. So I would like to go over a few announcements here at the center. And we have a lot going on, a lot shifting and changing in a great way. And I do want to say I am so happy that Miss Stephanie is back here from her vacation at the Bonita Springs location. She was on vacation for I want to say almost 2 weeks, and it's so good to have her back. I just love her presence, and just everybody loves her here, not just the staff, but the clients. She just brings such great energy and does so much for myself, the readers, the clients, and I am just so grateful that she's here. She's back today, so yay, welcome back, Stephanie, and she'll be coming through the door shortly. All right, so what is up? So we have added another reader to our phone system, not just to the phone system, but in-person sessions as well. So we welcome Brenda DeSouza. Now, Brenda is a professional medium, psychic, intuitive, that has been reading for over 15 years. And as of right now, she's mainly available on the phone lines, but I want to make sure I get the date right. I think it's Monday, August 7th. It's either the 7th or the 9th. She'll be at the Fort Myers store in person. And as we have more requests for Brenda, then we will have her available in store as well. She also can help facilitate pet communication for those who have some questions about your pets here, as well as pets on the other side. And that is kind of an interesting topic because sometimes there are things going on with our pets, cats, dogs, birds, horses, and we're not sure what's happening with them. You know, they seem a little off. Do they have a tummy sensitivity? Are they depressed? Are they needing something from us? And with pet communication, you're able to kind of fine tune and tune into that animal and help assist them. Now, we also still do have Jennifer Crumbliss, who still does work through the center, but right now we don't have a set schedule for her. So she did update me the other day that she'll let me know as soon as she can be available for her clients, and we'll put it out there. And I would say this too, for the latest updates through the center, for the center, sign up for the newsletter, because with the newsletter, that's where we kind of put it all together. And that's my way of communicating with everyone. We have quite a few people on that newsletter list. And I know that as soon as the newsletter goes out, which I send out twice a month, that the phone's ringing off the hook. So it's where I will make sure that we have the online calendar updated, the Facebook page, and so on and so forth. And I know a lot of you connect through the Facebook page as well. And once a week, I send a quick little email through the online community. So we welcome Brenda to the phone lines and in person. Again, we have Claudia who's with us, Claudia Johnson. And then for those who really connect with Ashley Devine, Ashley Devine was here at both centers in Southwest Florida for almost a year, maybe it was a year this last time that she was here, because she travels a lot. So when she's in town, she kind of plants herself at the moon, which we love to have her here too. So she has facilitated many phone sessions and in-person sessions. And Ashley is out west now, and you can connect with her via telephone on Tuesdays and Fridays from 3 to 6 Eastern time. And she is beginning to book up already for this Friday, because we just opened her book, and I'm going to put that information out in the newsletter. So if you're interested, feel free to sign up online or for a phone consultation, or call the storefront. And they're still doing construction a couple of units away here at the Bonita location. And so you might hear a little bit of banging and drilling here and there. It's interesting. It's going to be a wing stop. And I heard that they have the best wings. So for those wing fans, 2 doors away. There you go. Right there, 2 doors away, you can have some delicious wings. All right, so more great news. So what else do we have going on here? Next week, I will be facilitating my crystal bowl meditation here in the Bonita Springs location. I do ask that you RSVP. Last bowls here in Bonita, we had maybe 23. And so I do want to be able to accommodate everyone, and this just kind of gives everybody a heads up. And also, Jenny Martin's back in town, so her class is back to its regular Monday night schedule. Next week, we also have the Diksha Blessing with Crystal Bowl Meditation in Fort Myers with Joanna and myself on Thursday night. And then on Friday night, Pam will be hosting her Reiki Circle here at Bonita at 7 p.m. And then the next day on August 5th, we have a lot happening at both stores. Here in the Bonita Springs store on August 5th, Saturday, I will be hosting Tarot 2 from 12 to 2:30 here in the Bonita Springs location. And then at nighttime in Fort Myers, Mary Rose will be hosting a mediumship gallery. And if you haven't been to Mary Rose's mediumship galleries, I highly suggest you go. It's a great time. There's a lot of healing, a lot of connection, and it's just a really awesome event. And that will be from 6:30 to 8:30, and it's a prepay, $45. So call the Fort Myers store to sign up and prepay. And we are cutting it off at 20. So we're already getting pretty full. So I suggest you call ahead to do that. Also, she'll be offering, we're going to try to flip-flop it, offering a mediumship gallery here in Bonita in September. I don't remember the exact date. So that will be on the calendar. I'm trying to remember, but let's see, did I put it in my notes? Sure didn't. I want to say it's a Saturday night, September. It might be the second Saturday, but I will definitely have that updated in the online calendar, and on the Facebook page and in the spiritual communities and everywhere that we put that. And let's see here. Joanna Salerno will not be hosting her monthly Tapping into Akasha gatherings, right? It's not a workshop, but it's a gathering, because she's our Friday facilitator for readings and healings at the Fort Myers store, and she's super busy with that. So we're going to make the Tapping into Akasha special event every couple of months. So that means it's canceled here. We're taking off the schedule in Bonita and in Fort Myers. So we'll make that more of a special event. And if you're interested in learning about or hearing about your records, you can always schedule a private session. And she's here, as I mentioned, Fridays in Fort Myers. Let's see what else we have. That's a lot already, I would say. So, I did want to mention, I think I put it in the newsletter for the online community about Jill's blog. So Jill posted a blog and it is blogs, and I put it in there for everybody to maybe to check it out. So she put up a Seth quote, and it's very interesting, the Seth material. I'll tell you what, that Seth material is timeless. And for those who do not know, Seth is a non-physical entity that Jane Roberts channeled. She channeled and brought Seth's information through, and he would dictate books. And her husband, Jane's husband, Robert, would write it all out, and there was perfect punctuation and titles, and they would pick up where they left off. And like a few days later, it was just wonderful, timeless, fabulous, enlightening information. And I picked up Nature of Personal Reality last night and read maybe 3 pages before bed. Nope, 2 pages before bed. And what interesting dreams. Oh my gosh. So I invite you to read Jill's blog. We're going to be working on a Seth material study group or discussion group with Jill hosting it. And Jill has been reading these books. And let me look here. She had read, how many books was that, Jill? 34 books in addition to this. So with the material, and there are books that have been written on the Seth material. And there's just so much here for us to share, to grow that information. I believe you participated with study groups with the Seth group. So I am excited to see what comes through with all of this, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty fascinating and awesome information here. You're very welcome, and I can't wait to schedule that, and we'll be doing that sooner than later to get that information out there. And Jill says thank you. Also, they're in the blog too. Gina had also channeled a message for everyone. And so I love to see what everybody has to add here in the blog area, and sharing our information and our thoughts and what comes through. I don't need to be the only one who's doing it, you know? So why not? We have some wonderful, wonderful, beautiful souls here in the online community, and I invite all of you to share your thoughts and your information. Okay, so moving forward, and hello again to all the people in the online community as well as the YouTube page. I see quite a few of you. So I am going to post in the group chat if you have a question and or comment, to type it in here in the online, in the YouTube page, on the YouTube page. All right, so moving forward, and wow, we got quite a few people here. So I will say this, that it's been very interesting these last, like in the last week or so, with people coming in through the store, needing lots of sage. They have maybe been a little bit grumpy, and they want to shift that energy. And not only that, but they have been experiencing, you know, their loved ones, coworkers, friends who have been a little off kilter. And this is what I see with it. As we move into the time of Leo, which is a very creative energy, that maybe if we're not finding an outlet for that creativity, that we kind of get clogged up and we get a little bit grumpy, and it's like we're not flowing enough. We're plugging up and clogging up that intuitive flow that's trying to help us direct the energy and to help us participate in activities to fill us, that will help open up doors for us, that will bring in more of a connection to our higher guidance, and so on and so forth. There was a quote within that book last night, and I wish I had copied it again. I don't have the book with me, in The Nature of Personal Reality. And it had to do with how we create our own reality, and that it's us and only us, and that that helps the creative process. So I will find that, and I'll probably put it here in the main room chat, maybe tonight or tomorrow. But it really does kind of put a different perspective, and it hands the keys back to you and say, you're in control, you're in that driver's seat. So what I'm seeing is that, like, we're kind of getting clogged up and a little bit grumpy because of it, and feeling restless. And it's important for us to clear ourselves, to ground ourselves, to observe what's going on, and separate ourselves, and to step out of the emotion of a lot of what's going on there. Okay. So then that leads me into the topic today, which has to do with empaths. And I know I've covered this topic before, but it is one that more and more and more and more and more and more people are recognizing that they are empaths, and they are learning to embrace this sensitivity. However, I will say this, it is not an excuse. It's definitely not an excuse to not be proactive. It's not an excuse to take responsibility for your stuff. It's a sensitivity to utilize for ourselves, to empower ourselves, to recognize how maybe we can shift our perspective and our energy by being more aware of what our thoughts are, what is us and what is not us, and to not blame the outside influence. If there is an outside influence that is affecting you, then you need to get take those keys back, get in that driver's seat, and drive this bus, and take charge of what's going on in your life. Sometimes it's more of a waning process. When we have that awareness, when we have that understanding, and those epiphanies and ahas come up, it's like, ooh, let me reevaluate things and kind of check in with where I am and where my goals are, reevaluation, and where other people's energy is and where their goals are, you know, and what their intentions are. And it really does help empower us. Now, if you check out the Mystical Moon of Fort Myers, Bonita Springs Facebook page, I post the cards of the day. And it's really awesome how this works, because what my daughter does is she puts the image up months and months and months in advance, sometimes 6, 8 months in advance. And then I go in maybe a week or two beforehand, and she schedules, right? She schedules them on Facebook. You can schedule page posts. And I go in and I intuit the message, and it's so interesting what's lining up over the next couple of days. I think today we had the 5 of Cups, which is about kind of honoring your feelings and feeling it and the humanness of it. And then we're going to see a theme of being proactive, taking charge. You have the Emperor, you have the 2 of Wands, which both of those energies are all about taking control, not being wishy-washy, to make decisions, make executive decisions, and be in charge. And it's a very proactive energy. So it's very empowering. And I do see a question from Andrea. Andrea's question is it possible for us empaths to feel animal emotions? Lately, I feel them. Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. It's all interconnected. You can feel the energy of a tree being cut. I know there are a lot of people who have had the experiences of where they've driven past what was a forest or a bunch of trees, and they're all cut, and they can feel the sadness of those trees being destroyed. You can feel the energy of an animal, like when on social media, when I see posts about animals being abused, I just can't. I just can't see it. I feel it deeply, and I have to disconnect. It doesn't mean I'm not aware. It doesn't mean I don't have empathy. It means I have too much empathy, and I know my warning sign is that I sometimes, a lot of times, have a hard time separating from that energy, because it's like a brick wall that hits you. And we all have different areas where there's no separation or boundary with certain situations. For some people, it has to do with children. For some people, it's people in another country. For some people, it's those who are affected in the military. It doesn't mean we're not sensitive and caring, but I can bet that there are different areas and groupings of consciousness of beings that are affected, and where it affects you greatly and deeply. I remember when my son was younger, he still has a sensitivity. He could not hear about on television or anywhere people discussing about the poor kids, children who didn't have enough. He would just start wailing and throw himself on the floor. He could not handle it. So whatever that sensitivity is, it could be that he came into this world with that sensitivity. It could be that there's a past life where he knows that suffering. So we all have those different reactions. Okay, so and Andrea too, that feeling the animals. And Elizabeth's question is, so how are you able to separate from that energy? It is not always easy, but I do have a few things that I'm going to go over here. And even having that awareness that, gosh, that really gets me. So what can I do? Well, the first thing that I do is I take a step back. I try not to look at the image, the visual of it. Right now there's a shark one on there with a boat and stuff. And as soon as I see that, I close my eyes. I take a deep breath, because I want to kind of ground myself. I don't want to get caught up in all of that emotion. And I am being proactive by doing this, because if I allow my triggers and my emotion to feed into it, becomes more of a frenzy. And I want to separate myself from that frenzied energy. Okay, so I take them, I close my eyes, I look away, I might go in the other room, and I take a deep breath. And again, I center myself, I ground myself. And I identify it, and then I might start praying. I pray and I ask Spirit to help bring awareness and healing and accountability for this. And I think that wonderful, beautiful soul that chose to have the experience, and I'm talking about the shark or the person or whomever, that there be healing and comfort and understanding, that there be growth and a shift for all those involved, for all of us. Because when we have scenarios like that, it's a manifestation, and it's part of the divine plan. If we look at the bigger picture, it's part of that divine plan, maybe to bring awareness, to have support, to have accountability come in, and who knows, it might trigger someone to blow the whistle on someone else. It might cause someone who is abusing other beings, animals, human, plants, whatever, to have an awakening, a shift. And the more of us that feed into the positive part of it, so not everything is positive and negative, but there is positive and negative. So there's the blessing from the situation, and it really is all energy. There's denser, and there's lighter energy. And so all this that happens is for the growth and the healing for all of us. So to be proactive, whether it's what can I do to be to assist in this matter. I remove myself from the frenzy and the chaos and the drama of it, and then I say a prayer. That is healing. That is being proactive by sending that prayer and that energy to the situation. Maybe Reiki, sending Reiki healing energy to that, and then continuing to do my part to do the best I can as an individual that adds to the collective with everything that's going on. Right, so hopefully that helped, just with one small part of it, and I am going to continue to go on, but it's so important that in that moment where you almost feel like your insides are being ripped out from it and your heart is breaking, breathe through it. When we take a moment to breathe, and it automatically kind of brings you back in your body, brings you into the present, and it connects you with your higher power, and it's like you gain control over what's happening. And in gaining control, you stop, you become present, and it helps you take a moment to listen and connect with that part of you, and you're making a choice with your reaction. See a question or his comment. Andrew says, I have a black tourmaline with me and I staged this morning before work, but I still feel my coworker's depression. How do I remove this real quick? I'm getting very emotional. You can pray for her. Black tourmaline does help. When you go to the restroom, washing your hands, asking to disconnect that energy, and ask your higher self and ask your guides and ask the forces that be that work with you to please help you interact with her without taking on that energy. You know, it does help to say, Spirit, please help me not feel her pain. Spirit, please help me send healing energy to her. Please help me disengage from what's going on here. So the other things that you can do are, let's see here. Oh, and I did want to talk about empaths. I think everybody does have an idea pretty much, but I still want to go over a little bit more so with my notes. So this definitely is a topic I have covered before, and it's so relevant. Empaths are people that feel easily and pull in their environment, and they often are unaware that they're doing so. So being an empath does have its benefits, though. You can feel the energy or person, place, or thing quickly before having to spend a lot of time trying to figure it for you or not. So here's some more of my tips. So being an empath is not always a bad thing. Some people, they honestly may use it as an excuse, as I had mentioned earlier. It's not an excuse for not being proactive, or an excuse or a pass for bad behavior, or from not doing the right thing, because you know better. You know better. If you're watching this, you know better. And I know my audience. I know the people that connect with me, and I know you all know better, because if you're attracted to the Empower Hour or the Mystical Moon or spiritual understanding and learning. You kind of know better, so no more passes. Okay, so moving forward. So here are some of the tips. You can learn how to ground yourself by going outside, holding crystals such as selenite, citrine, yellow calcite, hematite, shungite, black tourmaline, and tiger's eye. These are just a few of the crystals that you can hold on to help ground you. By going outside, you're connecting to the earth. By taking a deep breath, you're grounding yourself. You're disconnecting from all that is going on there. Let's see, hugging a tree. Yep, you can hug a tree. You can touch the earth, right? Bending over and bending down and touching the earth, the grass. Breathing in those aromas. There's aromatherapy, such as sandalwood or patchouli. Earthy types of fragrances help ground us. And why yellows? I mentioned yellows, yellow calcite, yellow citrine, yellow obsidian, because they work with the solar plexus, and that is the tummy area where we feel a lot of this energy. Empaths usually pull it in through the stomach, and a lot of times empaths are the ones who have stomach or digestive issues. Empaths also sometimes are affected with the third eye. And I think I have that down here a little bit more so, and I'll go into that. Maybe I do. Oh, no, I do. So the solar plexus, so covering the solar plexus, your stomach, and doing any type of solar plexus work will help you as an empath. So maybe putting a book in front of you, maybe just doing this over your stomach area is like reminding you I have a shield over there, so I'm not pulling in the energy. It's my reminder, not okay. Throat chakra too, sometimes the throat chakra is affected with this, as well as the head. So the third eye, it gets kind of stuck here. That energy gets stuck here because you're feeling overwhelmed and you're kind of like spiraling with this energy. As I mentioned before, breathing in and out, use the breath to move down through the body, out through the feet, and into the earth. That's centering yourself. I covered that quite a bit. And it's so, so, so powerful, simple, and it works. Let's see what else. Take sea salt or Epsom salt baths. I have sea salt or cleanse soap. And when you soak in the salt, it helps disconnect those energies and it helps seal up your auric field. The auric field is a layer of energy that's right around the body, and there are different layers and layers to that. And when we interact with others, their energy comes in, and when you're playing into all the emotion of what's going on, you're connecting with other people under situations, and that sometimes puts holes in the aura, and that's where you're leaking energy. You can become exhausted. It's a whole other thing that starts happening there. It's like a downward spiral. But even if you feel like you're spiraling, you still can pull yourself out of it. You still can pull yourself out of it with some of these tips here. By becoming in the present moment, there's always a way out, and you can always pull yourself out of it. All right, I just want you to know that even if you feel like, oh, I'm way in too deep, tomorrow's another day. You can shift that energy right away. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Cut those toxic emotional cords. So you can do this by calling in Archangel Michael. You can use some of my cord cutting spray, like a cord cutting spray helps, cutting those cords, asking Michael to come in with his shield to cut those cords, seeing like a shaver go around all around your energy field. That helps cut the cords, and asking Spirit to help you disconnect those unhealthy emotional cords that are detrimental to my well-being, and then sealing them up with light. You can tone Om, and that will help clear your energy field and separate yourself from others. When you Om, you're bringing in that divine intelligence. And when you bring in the light, that does help kind of push away and out of your mind space all that's going on there, all that toxicity. So it helps bring you present. You're aligning yourself with your divine with the divine power, and it does help change what's going on in that moment. Shift it. Meditation and going within, reflecting inward, knowing your thoughts and what thoughts are not yours. So meditation helps you take a step back, center yourself, and kind of look at the overall perspective of what's going on in the present moment. Healing work on yourself, such as Reiki, massage, cranial sacral work. So you can do some of this for yourself. You can do your Reiki positions on yourself for yourself, or you could go for a treatment. A massage helps do that, cranial sacral. Any type of healing work can help you bring in the light, align yourself with the light, and that light pushes out what doesn't belong in there. Stay in observation mode. Check in with what's going on, the internal query. Why am I feeling off? Who am I around? What's going on here, right? So that does help us recognize and identify what's our reaction. I noticed on Tuesdays when I work with Susie Q that I'm a little off, that I'm a little unfocused, a lot unfocused. I'm all over the place. What's going on? Well, I know that she has a lot going on, and I'm trying to help her with everything. That may be where you have to take a look there and see what boundaries would help you be in place. And there's a time and a place for helping people. Work is not usually it, and so it's affecting your work performance, and it may even cause you to not even like your job anymore. So you see kind of that spiral of how it can happen. At first you really like her, and you feel so bad because she has all of these things going on, and here comes your empathy. Oh, I just feel so bad for her. And you're trying to counsel her, and then Susie Q is honestly addicted to drama. She has had this identity for a while. This is Susie Q's story, and she may not be ready to change that story right now, but yet as an empath and a healer and a loving person, your job is to help her, but Susie Q may not be ready. So again, we see how all of that is spiraling, and then eventually you're like, oh my gosh, I see that she is still in the same place. She's still complaining about the same thing. She's not wanting to change, and I'm starting to resent this, and I don't like working on Tuesdays with Susie Q, and so on and so forth. So recognizing that and shifting it. So your job is not to fix Susie Q. Your job is not to change Susie Q. Your job is to do your job that you're hired for and disengage and change your reaction. You can be a loving, supportive person by being neutral and kind of shifting those questions to the other person. Susie Q says, it was a horrible weekend. I'm really sorry to hear that. Hopefully this week will get better for you. And kind of shifting it in that way. So you kind of get the idea with that one. All right. So be in the present moment. I covered this before. That will help you access where you are in the moment. Avoid drama. Know and identify the situations that cause you to be off balance. Learn how to create boundaries with others. All right, so those are some thoughts, ideas, and really what you're seeing, it's about getting a grip in the moment, and taking a step back, centering yourself. That really is probably the best way to not allow yourself to be influenced by your environment. And again, it's to not allow yourself to be influenced by your environment, to identify, recognize it, get back into that driver's seat and be aware of what's happening. Sometimes, unfortunately, we do need to not socialize with certain people as much, not answer the phone as much, take our time. And sometimes we might have to just say, I am so sorry, but I think that we're on two different pages here, two different wavelengths, and so on and so forth. You know, usually, I will be honest, usually Spirit starts to pull us away from those situations. Sometimes when someone is not as present in our life, that's no coincidence. It's divine intervention, and sometimes we need to pay attention to that. So sometimes when people kind of phase out, we do need to trust. Now, I'm not saying that it's an excuse or a pass to not take responsibility. It's possible too, and to be honest, that some people phase out because maybe you weren't a good friend, because maybe you weren't, maybe it was a one-sided relationship. Maybe you're the toxic one. So I do want you to take a look at that and reflect it a little bit so that you can see more of what's going on. Okay, so I hope that that information has helped all of you. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be answering questions for like the next 10 minutes or so in the main room chat. And I invite you to type in your questions there. All right, so I do see a question from Michelle. And her question is, good morning, my dad is in the ICU and will he be okay? All right. Let me see here. So I am going to use the Gilded Royale Tarot by Sarah Marchetti. This is not the Gilded Royale, it's the Gilded Tarot. The Gilded Royale Tarot is the one I use when I do my weekly predictions. So this is the Gilded Tarot. So I am going to ask a question about Michelle's dad of what's going on here. And he is in the ICU. Well, they are showing me that things will improve a little bit for him, but I really feel like there's a lot more going on here. I feel like this is like the tip of the iceberg. It feels like there have been, I feel like they're showing me things being stacked. And so I do think he'll improve, but I feel like there are maybe some lifestyle changes, maybe some healthier boundaries with people and situations that I feel are important for him. It's kind of like reevaluation time. What's important, what's not important, you know? Work is not as important as relationships and so on and so forth. So I have the Sun, I have Strength, which is my Leo card, and then I have the Five of Cups. And I do have a quick question, because since the Sun came up, do you have a brother? If you have a brother, I'm kind of feeling some type of influence there, or he has a brother, because this actually I feel like your brother. So they're showing me the Sun. So it might be that the relationship with his son, or a son figure in his life, that there's a little bit of shifting within that, or there's more healing to be brought to that relationship. Okay, so I'm going to invite more of you to type in any questions that you may have this morning. This is so funny. Usually they're before I even get into the topic. All right, so there we go. I knew they were coming. All right, Elizabeth says her question, or what she has to say, is open to any messages Spirit has. This has to do with your finances and your abundance, and they're telling me for you to, actually, I'm hearing the words abort, abort. So they want you to, so Spirit wants you to focus more on your individual journey with abundance and career, and not, like I feel like there's an idea or something that you maybe have been, a project you were discussing with someone else and you wanted to kind of do it together, like a joint venture. Spirit saying wait, that right now it's more about your own individual creation and manifestation. So I hope that makes sense. So I have the Ten of Pentacles. So this is about the manifestation and the coming together of your ideal, your idea, your intention. And this in this instance, they're telling me it has to do with money, your finances, and success. And the next one is the Knight of Wands reverse, and that's where I heard, wait, put the brakes on that idea that you were going to maybe co-create with someone else. And then I have the Hermit, and this one says, this is about yourself, going alone, doing it as an individual. Okay, so that's your message, and I hope it makes sense. The next one is from Karen. Karen says, while going to sleep, I sometimes feel a strong energy. Whoop, near my bed. Not a negative energy, it's just a strong energy. It makes it a bit difficult to fall asleep, wondering what it could be. Thank you. I keep seeing an older woman, and I'm not sure if this is a spirit guide or someone who's crossed over, but what I see is an older woman, non-physical being, and it feels like I feel like I'm more like I want to get back to the basics. I want to actually say like a plain Jane, someone maybe who didn't wear a lot of makeup, who was about natural beauty and didn't have time to beat around the bushes. And I'm just going to ask a quick question. I feel like it is a family member. So this may be a family member that you are aware of or conscious of, or someone in your lineage. And this is just a yes. I pulled I asked a yes or no question. Right side up is yes, reversed is no. And I got that it's someone in your lineage, your ancestral lineage, that is helping you stay more disciplined and staying on track. So I'm not getting her name right now, but I want to say she has light brown hair, because she's showing me not blonde, not black, light brown hair. Okay, so she's helping you stay on track and remain disciplined. Okay. Marnell says, good morning. Hopefully I'm not being vague. But what is the use of this Leo energy for me? Okay, this is what they're showing me. For you to take the focus off work, career, and your expectations there, and I want to shift focus and gear towards painting, writing, music, redecorating your home. I want to create. I want to be artistic. I want to not be attached to, well, is this a waste of money? I don't want to be attached to, is it a waste of my time? I could be doing this. I have all these things to do. I want you to have fun. This even could be gardening. I want you to enjoy the creative process and have fun with what you're doing. And that is that Leo. Leo is very passionate, very passionate, big old heart, and it's fire. So it's like doing something. So I want you to not focus so much on work. Working, all that stuff is going to take care of itself right now. Right now, it's more about you bringing more joy and excitement and passion into your life. I want to see you wear more brighter colors. I want to see you with reds and hot pinks and oranges and fun yellows. And what is that color? It's not yellow and it's not green. It's that in-between color. I want to see you wearing those things. And I feel like that is going to zhuzh up your life. Okay? Even as I discuss it, see how alive my voice is and how alive I come. So I feel like that is for you. Okay, so that's your message, Marnell. Next question. It's from Heather. Open to Spirit's messages. I'm going to shuffle it just a little bit. I feel like I don't want to pull it up. There you go. We have the card of the day. We have the 5 of Cups that popped up for you, Heather. So that really does go along with the message that I wrote out. I posted on Facebook. So you might find yourself in a little bit of a heavier type of emotional place, and it might be like, whoa, this is low, and you might want to sing the blues and put on a blues station and allow yourself to really feel that emotion. And I want you to do this when you're able to feel your emotions and you're able to cry and do release whatever it is you need to do when you have your own privacy. Because you're just showing me the mourning and the letting go of, I'm going to say, a situation, a relationship that has run its course, and it could be friend, family, coworker, it could be so many different things, acquaintances, something from a long time ago that you haven't quite really cut those ties, and you're not happy. You may not be happy with how it ended, and that's really what I'm seeing here. So we have the 5 of Cups, the 9 of Swords, which is actually about you taking those fears and those heavy emotions and doing something with them. And then the 9 of Cups reversed It has to do with not being thrilled, not okay with how it looks, but you know what? I may not like it, but I'm accepting it and I'm moving forward. Maybe that is the word for you for the week, for the month, maybe acceptance. This is what it is. I accept that and I understand and I see it. I will work on understanding it. When you accept it, it's like, okay, it's not that you're throwing the towel in, it's that you're surrendering in a positive way and having faith that this is how it's supposed to be. Okay. Okay, and so Denise says, birds keep approaching me. Perhaps the same birds. Is there a message or just a visitor? I do think, oh my gosh, it's showing me several different spirits. I see human. I see 2 women that have crossed over in the last 6 years is what they're telling me. And then I see a couple of animal spirits too. So I do see, oh my gosh, it's like it's like a collective. So they're not quite identifying themselves like the blue jay is a swan, the ibis is this one. That's for you to use your own intuition to connect with the spirit and the energy of that bird. And you will know, you will be able to identify who's whom coming through. But I feel like, yes, 2 women that have passed over the last 6 years, and I see a couple of animals, pets, loved ones, fur babies that are coming through for you. All right, Elizabeth says, thank you, you're welcome. And Myra says she's open to messages from spirit. All right, so what they're showing me that, Myra, you're coming full circle with, I'm not going to say bad luck, but where you keep hitting a wall. And so they're showing me, okay, that cycle, where you understand it, you get it, and you have shifted your belief system. And I felt like things are going to shift in a really great way for you. We have the world, which is about completion of a cycle. The star reverse, which has to do with not bad luck, but closed doors, stagnancy, not thrilled with what's going on. And then you have the 6 of Pentacles, and this one is about the karma of the energetic understanding. Karma could be good, karma could be negative, but you have a deeper awareness and understanding of what has transpired in the past, okay? And then the last one that I said, just give me a little bit more, what does that mean too? And they said the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is about really enjoying their life. Someone really enjoying their life and embracing it and excited about what the future holds. And Karen, you're very welcome. Kelly says, I've had this sudden fear of stingrays. I love going to the beach and I've seen them every time I'm there. I was never afraid of them before. What could this mean? I do believe that there is, I don't know, I'm getting 2 things. That there either is a parallel life right now that has to do with a lot, and I don't feel like it's this 2017. I want to go to more of an ancient civilization. I'm actually going to Atlantis, and I see all of this marine life, and I'm seeing these stingrays that are huge, 20, 30 feet. And I do think that there was a tragic situation that it feels like that's like that parallel life, that this experience and other marine life where it's very challenging and you have to go in there in the water for survival, for water and all of this. And I just feel like there's a lot of fear of what's going on there. I would also look that up online, like spirit medicine, animal totem messages. Okay, so I feel like that also will give you a whole other meaning to it as well. So what can you do if there's that parallel life that's going on there? When you see those stingrays, I would send them love, light, thank them for their presence and their consciousness, and so on and so forth. Okay? Denise says, thank you, you're welcome. Myra, you're welcome as well. And as always, it's been my pleasure to share my thoughts, to interact with all of you, and Yeah, thanks all. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Look forward to sending that newsletter out. So if you're not already on the newsletter sign up list, do so because you'll find all the latest and greatest stuff going on. And I'm going to sign off. I'm going to go say hello to Stephanie, and all of you have an awesome day. Awesome week. Namaste. And you're welcome, Kelly. She discovered a past life in Atlantis. Perfect. So that coincides with that. That's your validation. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care. And yay, Marnell loves that mustard collar. Excuse me. You're welcome. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, YouTube.